areas across the globe to fulfill the thrust of humanity. RFI has near about 25 crores members as faculties, researchers, students, and other professionals with rich and diverse expertise in education research. Now, a brief introduction of SOC IPSA. School of Computer was established in 1995. Vision of the department is to create professional and technologically enabled manpower for meeting the current and future demand of the industry and society, to foster research and development culture in close interaction with the computing and technology industry, promoting synergistic partnership within the industry. The department known for its facility, placements, faculties, and infrastructure. Now, a very warm welcome to Vice President and South Asian Country Chapter Head of RFI, Dr. Ashok Gupta. I would like, sir, to speak few words. Sir,
Thank you, Nikita ma'am.
thank you, sir.
Uh, it is a great honor for me to be invited in this international webinar on potential of artificial intelligence in healthcare. The topic is very innovative, having ideas of healthcare. That is, one should be cautious about the health. I would like to thank Dr. Himanshu Jain, who is the expert today, and he is a specialist in Tata Alexi and former project manager in Infosys Pune. This webinar is organized by School of Computers, IPS Academy Indore, a well-known education institute in Indore, uh, in association with Research Foundation of India and World Virtual Conference Forum. This webinar is sponsored by World Federation of Science and Technology, JHERF, International Research Guide Federation, JRF, and Edu Academy. Uh, I would like to thank the organizers of this webinar, and I would like to thank our chairman, Dr. Saurabh Jain sir, Professor Ajay Jain sir, and all the members organizing committee of IPS Academy. It is a good sign that RFI and IPS Academy both are jointly doing something in the field of this artificial intelligence. So I congratulate once again, and I uh, wish good luck for this international webinar. Thanks again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your words. Now, I would like to welcome Dr. Saurabh Jain, Chairman of Research Foundation of India. I would like, sir, to speak few words.
Thank
Sir,
you, Dr. Nikita. Thank you very much to call me. First of all, I would like to welcome our organizer, Chairman School of Computer IPS Academy Indore, Principal and Directors of IPS Academy, and Honorable Speaker Dr. Himanshu Jain sir, Specialist in Tata Alexi and former Project Manager in Infosys Pune. As we know very well today, that is the webinar on potential of artificial intelligence in healthcare, organized by IPS Academy Indore. On occasion of this webinar, specialist whatever we have required in COVID-19 related to healthcare. So that is the nice topic chosen by IPS Academy. And also I would like to welcome and congratulate Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta sir, Vice President Research Foundation of India, Honorable Speaker Himanshu Jain ji, Core Committee Member, Research Foundation of India, Women's Cell, Research Foundation of India, President, Central Board of India, Professor Ajay Jain, Dr. Priyadashini Agnihotri ji, South North Board, Research Foundation of India. So everyone is waiting for listening words from our honorable speaker. So thank you very much to call me Dr. Nikita Sharma madam, and thank you to all president and uh, core committee members. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Nikita Sharma, madam.
Thank you, sir. Now, moving ahead, I would like to introduce our subject expert, Mr. Himanshu Jain. He is Senior Specialist in Tata Elxsi and ex-project manager at Infosys Pune. He is a specialized master trainer. Sir, the session is yours now. I'm confident that we will learn many interesting facts of AI from this session.
Thank you, Dr. Nikita.
Thank you, sir.
So I start my presentation.
Yes, sir.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good evening. Uh, so today we will talk about, in this particular session, we will talk about how AI is helping in healthcare. So before that, I will try to set up what is AI and what are the different fields in we have in AI, so that we can relate how the AI can be helpful in healthcare. Right, the healthcare is a most important and most important, basically most important topic nowadays because of this COVID thing. Everybody is caring more about their health, which is actually good. So now there are we are working on healthcare with AI since many years, but recent few months it become a very important topics for everyone, and we are seeing lots of progress in last couple of months, that AI is being used in many sector of the healthcare. So before I start, actually, so in this session, what we will do, we will see couple of videos together, and we will try to understand about the AI and machine learning, deep learning, which one is important. We will learn about what are the startups are doing, and what are different fields in which AI is helping in with healthcare. Then we will look into the some more application where the technology is being used in healthcare and how it is impacting. I just give you one figure which is very important one, which I learned few days back only, that in India, every 6 seconds, the one person die because of heart attack. Every 6 seconds. Okay. Over the year, around 5 million people get heart attack in India. These are statics, okay? And out of which 3 million people die. And most of in this 3 lakh, 80% people die within a 6 hours. Okay. So this is something which is very surprising, that even after so much progress we have done in medical, this is one of the area in which we are lacking, and we need to do lots of work to save people life, right? And I can say, like, till now in medical world, uh, we were working as a reactive mode. Suppose, for example, when I get the heart attack, then only we reach to doctor, and then doctor try to treat, do the treatment and all. But how if we can predict that kind of diseases, or how we can predict that kind of incident, then we can may avoid it, or we can have more success in treatments, right? So that kind of prediction ability we can bring using the AI. Okay. So first we start with a little one short video, so that you will get the feel where are the AI is being used right now, and then we will have more discussion.
What does the future hold for healthcare? In 5 years? 10? How will patients experience care, and how will clinicians deliver it? And what role will security and IT operations play in keeping critical functions online and secure? Today, the Internet of Things, IoT, is improving access to quality care and reducing costs by tracking equipment, patients, and staff, plus much more. We've just begun to scratch the surface. The possibilities are endless. Extending healthcare to the home is already making it possible to collect data and track wellness, which is changing the management of chronic pain and disease. Soon, this data will be integrated seamlessly into electronic health records so doctors can remotely monitor patients in real time. And it will be more and more common to meet with your doctor from home through telemedicine. Augmented reality, which uses digital images superimposed on live content, and virtual reality, an artificial 3D environment, are some of the hottest technologies today. In healthcare, they can be used to treat addiction, phobias, and PTSD, as well as to help doctors learn about anatomy and test surgical techniques. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is the ability for computerized machines to mimic human thought processes. AI, combined with natural language processing, could provide clinical decision support, such as automated symptom triage. In the future, AI could break through boundaries in ways we can't even conceive of right now. Robotics, already used in medicine for transportation, pharmacy automation, surgery assistance, and more, is becoming an essential part of our future. With Wi-Fi 6 and real-time haptic feedback, doctors could perform surgery enhanced by AI. Everything you do today and tomorrow, from deploying telemedicine services to implementing AI for clinical decision support, depends on a strong IT infrastructure. All your systems, network, mobility, collaboration, security, and data center need to work together seamlessly to support the changing face of medicine. And Cisco can.
Okay, this is a small introduction, like how the AI is helping in different ways in healthcare. Starting from variables to in the operation theater room, it is helping to our doctors. So we just try to understand in terms of AI what is the market and why the AI is preferable, most important technology stack nowadays. So if you see the demand of the AI engineers is increasing day by day, and if you see this particular aesthetics, the machine engineers demand is increasing by 10x, right? So that, and the machine learning engineer, when I say the machine engineer is increasing 10x, it is similar growth we are seeing in terms of healthcare AI engineer. So we need engineers nowadays those are having some knowledge about the medicine and some knowledge about the medical world basically, and the machine learning. So this is a perfect combination to be in a good position in the market. Okay. So lots of career opportunity if you build, if you have both the things. But having said that, both the things are having two different philosophy. I generally say like engineer are like the first philosophy of engineer is break the things and move fast, right? That is how the engineer works. But in doctor perspective, for them the safety is important. Even though you slow, but you cannot be wrong. So there are two different kind of philosophy, but we need to merge both the philosophy to make a good solution for the healthcare. So if you are having machine learning knowledge plus if you're having some medical knowledge, there are lots of opportunity in the market. So if you see the salary trend in machine engineers, you might know that they are high. They are getting very high pay in the market nowadays. I know many people; those are in 2 years they are getting 15 lakh, 20 lakhs also in Pune. Okay, so there are many startups; those are working, and there are many things for the AI engineers to work on. Specifically, I say there are I know some few startups; those are working specifically in AI field. If you know about, there is a Cure.ai as a company which is in Mumbai. They are working primarily only AI and healthcare domain. So they have recently published their paper, and their particular paper is got approved by the FDA. FDA is a regulatory in USA. So whenever any new medicine uh, produced by any US company, or it distributed in the USA, or any medical device introduced in USA. So they have to follow some regulatories, guidelines, right? So the FDA is one of the regulatory in USA. So it is a proud moment for our Indian, that one of the our paper is approved by the FDA, and it is the applicate that paper application is going to be used by some or other companies. So these kind of startup are paying huge amount if you have a knowledge about the medical and plus artificial intelligence. So what is the artificial intelligence you have to learn if you want to become a ML engineer? You need to learn Python or any other language like C++, or Java, and there is one another language, Julie. Julie is again is a kind of proud for us, because it is a language which is used which we can use to develop machine learning models and AI application. And that particular language is developed by an Indian. Okay, and this is that particular Julie language is very fast compared to Python, and it is growing very well. So if you get the time, just explore about the Julie. So if you see, the average salary of any machine engineer is very high compared to any other field. So lots of career opportunity. That is what I want to convey with these slides. That there are so many opportunities, and there are so many. There is so much scope. Uh, that is why it is a good time to learn the machine learning. So now we talk about how many startups, and if you might not, I was not aware, at least these are we have so many startups in the world. Those are working in a different area of healthcare. So healthcare is very wide, and I was surprised when I started learning about the healthcare and AI. I first time I noticed that how much data I have about my health, right? So AI is basically driven by data. If you have lots of data, then you can build a very good AI application. And in terms of healthcare, we all have lots of data. Whenever we go to any doctor, we they create a one report for us. They prescribe some medicine to us. We do some kind of X-ray or some kind of things, right? So all of us, mostly I can say 90% people must visit some other time to doctor. I can say more than 95% actually, and they might have some or other data which is created for their health, which is related to their health, right? So lots of data is there, and lots of fields we have in, particularly in healthcare. So we have lots of uh, startup as well. Those are working on a specific areas. Like for example, this is a very good slide to explain what are the different areas, and how what are the different startups are working on these particular areas. So this particular picture is not showing all the startups. There are so many other startup as well. So if you see, like if we divide the startups in different field of healthcare, there are startup those are working on the patient facing problems. So how they are helping? They are building AI chatbot. So I give you one example. There is one AI chatbot, and AI chatbot is growing a lot. Okay, so now the market, we are predicting that by 2027 we will see around $27 billion business using AI chatbot. So that is a business opportunity which we have. So there are so many uh, startups those are working on specifically on AI chatbot. So AI chatbot, there's a one chatbot I know, that is a virtual nursing chatbot, which is basically provide you virtual nursing for your health. It will help you if you face any kind of medical problem. It will guide you what kind of medicine you should take. It will give you reminder about your medicines. It will if you give information about your food intake, etc., it will advise you what you should eat, what should you not eat. how much calorie you have taken. If you have not done the exercise, it will remind you about the exercise. If you need uh, a doctor appointment, it will book an appointment for you. So many things that particular AI chatbot does. Okay. So many use cases are there. If you think about it, if you need any medical help, what kind of help generally you need? Like for example, when I need to go visit any particular doctor, like maybe the eye doctor, because so what I used to do, I talk to my friend and ask if he know any good doctor around, right? Or in a particular area, if anybody know about any specialist for any specific thing, right? I generally ask to my friend or family, what if we have one intelligent chatbot which can give us a better advice, and not only the advice, it can book appointment for me more suitable as per my schedule. So these things automatically can be done using the AI chatbot, and these are being done by the different startups. Second area, if we think about, there are many startups those are working on wearables and devices. Not only the startups, there are big companies like Apple, Fitbit. Those produce wearable and devices, and those are very helpful in many cases. For example, I read one news a month back. In Apple device basically saved a person life. Basically, it was keeping the track of the person pulse, and it noticed that the pulse is increasing drastically, and it notified the person that it you may get a heart attack because there is some unusual pulse rate has been changed in last few back. And he then visited to doctor, and he had that surgery before the time, and he the life could save. So these kind of things, the basically the Apple is more focusing on healthcare part of using his variable business. Similarly, similar thing goes for the Fitbit and etc. So these are the companies which basically not only helping you, these variables generally people generally used by sports people earlier in earlier days, but now these are becoming a part of everyone life because these are helping people to be more healthy. They are keeping track of your sleep habits and then giving you statics. And they're reminding you about drinking water or some kind of food, and they are noticing that how much you are active. All those things they are tracking and give you the good insight about your health.
Excuse me, sir. Someone has muted you. Please unmute yourself. Himanshu Jain, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Now you are audible.
Okay. So since when I'm not audible? Hello.
Sir, you only one or two lines are missing there.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So now you move to another. So there are other areas also like personal genetics, mental health, women health specific startups are there. Skin startups are there, so which can identify if you have a skin problem and then give you solutions. You don't need to visit a doctor. You can just take a snap and see what kind of problem you have and what kind of products are available to help you in that particular skin problem. Apart from this patient facing, I forgot one example for variables. So variables are very much used by nowadays used by insurance companies. Okay, so if you give access to your variable device data to insurance company, they see how much you are active. So based on that, they can reduce your premium. Okay, if they find that you are a very active person and you do all the exercise and everything, they understand that you are good, and they see your how your pulse rate is going up and down. They got to know that you're a healthy or unhealthy, and if you're a healthy person, they may reduce your premium, right? So those kind of use cases are also there, which on which startups are working. Now move to the telehealth. So it is topic which is used by which is in used in since many years actually. uh, Now you don't need to go to doctor for everything. uh, there are many things which you can get help remotely. And there are many things like I know one startup which is very impressive startup, and it's again a proud, it is an Indian startup, and they have one product like Shonit. So basically what it does is basically they uh, uh, they are able to do blood test using the AI. Okay, so now they just need a blood sample, and automatically they have manufactured the telescope also, moving telescope.
Achha.
Hello, hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Is anybody saying anything?
No, sir. Please continue.
Okay. So there is Shonit is a product which basically useful to do AI based blood reporting. So uh, often we have got to know that the blood report is not correct, and it is not accurate, and we need to redo the blood testing and all. What if the AI can do this, right? Because AI have the knowledge, is a huge knowledge base, and the chances of correctness is very high. Human error will be less. So Sean is working on that particular direction, and they are successfully able to not only do this analysis of the blood, but they are also able to recognize lots of diseases, including the cancer, right? So simple blood test sample, they are able to identify so many other factors which take lots of time for human right now. And we may not have expertise in many remote areas, specifically in our India. There are so many remote areas for where we don't have good pathologies, where we don't have experts in the pathology, or they available only once in a week. Such kind of scenarios are there, right? So in that case, we don't need to have a good pathologist in a remote area on a regular basis. They just need to someone need to just scan the sample, and then the all the analysis can be done using the image processing by this Shonit and similar kind of startups. So this is a very important, this is a very unique way in healthcare specifically. Apart from that, there are many research area like drug discovery, clinical trial, genetic research. Product discovery means there are many companies those create different kind of drugs. Like for example, many companies are working on COVID-19 drugs right now. How they come up with like what kind of molecules or what kind of component can help to resolve that particular problem. So there are so many researchers, there are doctors, those are working on the medicines since years, but the knowledge, uh, there could be a knowledge gap that can be filled by the AI. AI helps them to come up with faster solutions. Okay, that is why we are seeing that nowadays the medicine, we see the medicine comes in market very fast compared to the earlier days, because it takes a lot of time to come up with the component and other things. But now AI is also helping in that direction, and it helping medical companies to discover the more drugs in a less time. Now again, clinical trial means like whenever we have any medicine introduced in the market, before they do lots of clinical trials. In that also AI is helping a lot. It reducing the time. It is helping. It is predicting the outcomes and helping in the clinical trials. So now we move to the doctor facing. In doctor facing, there's huge scope of AI. For example, the medical records. Every day, um, the records is getting added, and it is difficult for any human to keep the track of each and every medical record. And sometimes it's become very critical for any particular patient if those record are missed or not seen by the doctor within a time frame. For example, suppose there is a hospital, there are four doctors, and there are maybe 100 or 200 beds and patients. One doctor may visit in every 4 hours, maybe, or 6 hours, right? What if there is some emergency? There is something which has been not noticed by doctor, or that happened in a particular in between the doctor visit. Can a doctor can get the alert? Can doctor get the notification, automatic notification? Can doctor can some kind of intelligence reporting automatically that something is not correct with this particular patient, and then he can give immediate attention to that particular patient and can save life, right? So when that is why the healthcare has become more important, because it directly relate to our survival, right? So there are so we can there are startups those are working on medical records. The other problem with the medical records still is there are so much records uh, not in a digital format. Those are still in pen and papers, right? So we need to digitize those records, and there are also startups those can scan the medical records and create the digital record of it, and that is very important. There are other startup. Specifically, I would like to talk about the medical imaging, which is a huge scope, in which we have a huge scope of AI. So I hope that everyone might have done some kind of medical imaging in their life, right? Some X-ray. I had X-ray. I think most of the people, once in a life, they used to have. They go for X-ray, right? So for that, or MRI or ECG, some kind of a medical imaging, right? And when you go for that, then doctor need to see that particular X-ray and then analyze whether you are suffering for something or not. For example, to identify the pneumonia, a very simple example. Doctor see your X-ray and see whether you are suffering for pneumonia or not, right? If you have that X-ray, can you identify whether you are suffering from pneumonia or not? Right? How you can do that? So it is one thing which takes a lot of time. You need to first of all, X-ray is getting generated, and then you need to take a doctor appointment, and then doctor see the X-ray for 10-15 minutes. Sometimes the X-rays could be so complicated, or MI report could be so complicated that it can take hours for a doctor to see the problems, identify the problems, right? So and it could be a life decision for for a person. So we need to be accurate, we need to fast on this, and AI is helping in that. AI can identify, can do these kind of scanning in within few seconds, right? We have a solutions. So the doctor takes 5 minutes. The machine learning can takes only 2 seconds to identify the problem. So those kind of solutions are being built. Those are there right now. And for example, the COVID-19 also, people have used lots of medical imaging to identify whether the person is suffering from COVID-19 or not. Because again, this is something which we can identify. Most of the time, we can identify using the medical imaging as well. So these are kind of solution are also being built, and there are so many hackathons are going on for the COVID-19 specifically right now to identify a different solution to identify these particular diseases in less time and more accurately. Right. Apart from that, the AI is being used in hospital a lot. In operation theater also, there are robots which are helping doctors to do surgeries. We don't have robots till now which can do automatically all the surgery, but we do have robots which help doctors to do surgeries. Right. So I am working for Tata Elxsi Medical Group, and we are working on several areas of healthcare related segments. Like we work on the clinical trial, we work on the medical devices, we work on the diagnosis of image visualization, we work on hospital information, patient engagement and variables, and of course telepathy and remote monitoring. So there are so many companies those are working on clinical trials. There's so much data they need to have when they do the clinical trial. They need to collect the data all across the world. For example, if the there are so many adverse event could be there which they need to see if there is any adverse event for their any medicine. For example, any pharma company introduce any particular new medicine in the market, then a doctor advisors, right? In India, doctor advisors take this medicine. We take it. If we don't feel good about that medicine, then we go to doctor and say this the medicine is not working for me. Doctor write another medicine and give it to us. That is not the end. Doctor report about that medicine to the pharma company that this is the particular. I have seen that people doing more medicine. These kind of adverse events being collected by the pharma company on a very regular basis. Okay, this is a one thing which is very important for any pharma company to see if there is any adverse event because of their medicine, right? So the data is being collected and data is being analyzed. Data is being collected from many ways, not only from the doctors. There are agencies those are working on behalf of the pharma company. Those collect such kind of information to build informative information for the pharma company, so they can make better decision. They can make the better medicine for the patients, right? So similarly goes for the medical device. There are AI equipped medical devices now available in the market. For example, when you go for therapy, so it takes it analyzes that what kind of therapy is helping to you, and then what is kind of therapy is helped to other people with the same age group or the different age group, and then accordingly it will give you the better treatment plan. So that kind of thing is there. Similarly goes for uh, the IBM Watson is helping a lot in this particular field. So what they do have like uh, so there was a scenario in which the person was suffering from one particular kind of cancer, and it was so difficult to save him. But the he was so rich. He was in USA. He was so rich. Many doctors came together. They did lots of research, and they came up with a very good solution and treated that person. And that person, the operation was successful, and he is healthy right now. The problem is not everyone have that kind of luxury, but we want and not everyone having that kind of knowledge. Then the IBM Watson kind of solution is helping to spreading this knowledge across the community. Okay, so now with the help of AI, the remote patient doctors also know about what kind of therapy has been given, what kind of treatment has been given to that person for that particular kind of cancer, and he can use a similar treatment if it suits to their patient. They can use similar kind of treatment for their patient as well. So that kind of AI driven intelligence is bringing more more knowledge in the healthcare sectors, right? So now we will see one video, so that uh, I have spoken a lot. So this video will give you more insight about how the healthcare is being used, how the AI has been used in healthcare.
Are there different kinds of data out there that we're just not leveraging? Sets of technologies that understand audio or that can read a tweet. We often find in healthcare organizations that there is not a deficiency of data. It's everywhere. problem is getting it together and actually using it to detect patterns. Is there a situation where data is coming in extremely quickly and we would benefit a lot from understanding it in real time? Technology is there to help humans, both those that have to provide the services to the patient, as well as the patient themselves with wearables. Healthcare organizations need to focus their technology investments to do that. In 2020, one of the important things that a healthcare enterprise really needs to focus on is understanding their customers. A healthcare organization needs to appear as a single entity to the customer. So when the customer looks at a healthcare organization, they don't need to feel that, well, I just did something with this part of the organization. It should be all as one. Patient of 2020, one of the things is the ability to see where I'm at in all of this process. If I sent in some blood work to get tests, knowing exactly when my results are going to come, where they're at, having visibility to where the hospitals are, what the wait time is in ER, visibility or transparency to operations, to my status, to the services that I'm receiving, to the cost that I'm spending to get those services. So instead of me coming in when I'm sick, what are those things that I should be doing to avoid getting sick? And how is my healthcare provider helping me do that? Really a proactive relationship between the healthcare institution and yourself. Wearables, things like Fitbit and Nike Fuel Band or Nike Plus, the ability to monitor essentially metrics about yourself. And then you move into specifically the healthcare arena, and all of a sudden you're able to do these things remotely, away from the healthcare facility, in your home, out in the field, really in any number of places. You're helping the consumer be healthy before they actually need to come in, which of course everybody wins. At the end of the day, healthcare doesn't change from the outcome standpoint. But the speed at which we do it, where we do it, how effective it actually is, those are the kinds of things in the background that will change.
Okay. So now we discussed a lot about the healthcare application in the AI. Now we try to understand how the AI works. What are the different components we have in AI to that, so that we can look at the solution side of it. Okay. So first we try to understand. So AI is a broad field in which the machine learning and deep learning is basically helping in AI to build such kind of solution which we have discussed in what the startups are using to build the solution for the healthcare. So now we try to understand what is the machine learning, what kind of different machine learning we have, what is the deep learning, and then we will again see, again try to relate how these things can help in healthcare. Okay. So what is machine learning? So machine learning is a different way to solve the problem. Generally in traditional programming, what we do, we used to have data and we write. For example, if I want to write a program to calculate the income tax, right? So I know, so what I do, I write a program for the different scenarios, like if my salary is greater than 10 lakh rupees, and if I am saving such in such sections, and some kind of rule-based programming I do, and based whenever person tell me his salary and other data, I can calculate his data using my program and give him the result that this much the tax you have to pay. This is a traditional way of doing that, right? What if we can develop a machine learning model for it, so that, for example, we will not write a program for this calculation, but what we will do, we will give a system input like, okay, if my salary is this, I have this much saving, and I have this kind of investment, then I have paid this amount of tax. if I have given this kind of data, 10 lakh of data, different kind of data to machine, and machine learn, okay, this is the relation, okay, this is how is being calculated. The machine learn itself the relationship and pattern, and then when I give another salary and other factors, it calculate and give me the and give the result. That is a basically a machine learning approach. So what is machine learning approach? This means when we don't need to give the explicit programming or instruction to computer, but computer learn from the data and is become able to predict the outcomes, then it is called as machine learning. So similarly goes for medical scenarios. If you think, try to relate every example with the medical world. For example, if you have lots of images, uh, and I will not tell you this, if you find this particular symptoms in particular x-ray, then the person is suffering from pneumonia or other kind of disease. But if I give you thousand or lakhs of those kinds of images, you try to understand by yourself, okay, these, if this particular pattern if I find, that means that particular images belongs to malaria patient. If this kind of images I find, then the particular axis belong to a normal healthy people. So that kind of relationship can, we cannot teach all these things directly to computer. It's very difficult to write a program for such things. But if the computer can understand the pattern, understand by itself, and can predict the outcome. If I give another X-ray and can tell me if the person is suffering from anemia or not, then there is a machine learning. Okay, that is why it is becoming more important, because and it is becoming more usable nowadays, because we have lots of data. We can give lots of data to computer, and then computer can predict the outcome. We don't need to explicitly program all those things, right? So if I divide the machine learning in different branches. So generally we talk about the supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. So what is supervised learning? Supervised learning is uh, when you have a labeled data, or you can have some regression formula to come up with the results. Right? For the classification problem in this, what is the meaning of classification problem? Unsupervised means when you don't have labeled data, you have lots of images or lots of different kind of data, and you want to group them, or you want to cluster them. Okay, what is reinforcement learning? When you want to learn by mistakes, right? Like we do. So suppose in clinical trial, when drug discovery, when the company is trying to discover new medicine, they fail multiple times and then learn, okay, this particular component, because of this particular component, this particular medicine might be failing, right? So and then they come up with the better medicine in next iterations. So there's kind of reinforcement learning. They don't use those medicine on the human directly. There are so many tests they do in their labs. So those kind of things which and then come up with the final medicine. So those tests basically reinforcement learning can be applied on such scenarios. So I give you general idea about the supervised learning. What is, as I said, supervised learning, you already know the outcomes of previous result. You already have labeled data, and now then you want to predict some other value. For example, I give you general example, then we try to relate the supervised learning example with the medical world. So for example, suppose you have a if you're new to any city and you want to buy a flat. Suppose if I come to Indore and I want to buy a flat in any particular locality, if I don't know anyone in Indore, then how I will get to know that I am getting a good deal or bad deal? Okay, then if I have a friends or families, then I can ask them like what is the general costing or price in this particular area, like that. What if I don't have anyone for that kind of reference? Then is there any machine learning application which have lots of data around that locality or such kind of parameters, so that when I give it a parameter like I want a 2 BHK flat, it give me a with a certain kind of locality, then it give me approximately a predictive rate, right? that this particular year you may get a flat in 30 lakh or 40 lakh and 60 lakh, right? So depend on the different the filters which I will apply. So that kind of prediction can be generated using the supervised learning. Okay. If I talk about the same thing in and also the other this the example I have given you actually regressions problem in which your output is a value. There's other kind of supervised learning which is a classification problem in which you classified the data. For example, if you have images of dogs, cat, and you want to identify which image belongs to which category, I mean, so which if I give you another image and you will be able to tell me that this is the dog image or cat image, then this is again an example of the supervised classification problem. So similarly, suppose you have a lots of images of cancer. Okay, you may have benign, you have malignant, and you want to identify which one is uh, which one is malignant and which is a benign. Okay, so if you look these two images, it is difficult for any human, normal human, to identify whether you are suffering from a cancer or not, because these two looks very similar for me, for to me at least. It's very difficult for me to understand and say that confidently that you are suffering from a cancer or not, right? Doctor can do, but they may also miss some time, right? Because sometimes uh, it's very difficult to identify the difference. Machine learning, we can train a machine with lakhs of images, right? So that it's possible that it can give a better result, right? It can give you more so there was one survey has been done in which these kind of images has been given to different doctors, and the success ratio was 86%. Surprisingly, for the similar images, the machine learning success ratio was 95%. Okay. So that kind of accuracy right now we can expect from the machine learning algorithm in terms of image processing. There's another kind of machine learning which is unsupervised learning, means which you don't have any uh, labeled data, but you want to clusterize the data. For example, if you are going to any doctor and a doctor is giving you some prescription or some suggestion, and we want a machine learning algorithm which take the notes, okay, which clearly mention that okay, doctor said this, patient said this, doctor said this, patient said this, and this kind of data it can capture. So in that kind of scenario, if you want to build that kind of solution for any doctor, which is because this is very important. Sometimes doctors say many things and we forget like what the doctor has advised us, or maybe doctor want to refer his advice later on, like what I have told to this particular patient uh, for his treatment, right? So I want to have those kind of notes automatically written for me. Okay. So that kind of solution which we can build using the unsupervised learning. Okay. Now I just jump to deep learning, which is very important, because till machine learning it was we were not able to fully utilize the AI in the healthcare. But as soon as the deep learning came into the picture, we are seeing lots of AI application in the healthcare. Why? Because there is in healthcare we have multi-dimensional data, and data is captured in a different format, is multi-dimensional. So many factors are there. It was very difficult for data scientists to for feature engineering. Feature engineering means identify the feature which impact a lot to any particular decision or any particular algorithm, right? So in deep learning, the feature engineering is automatic. So you just need a lots of data, and then we can build a neural network, and which can predict the better result. So surprisingly, the neural network concept is very similar to how our mind works. So I can say like deep learning is inspired by with our mind. like how our mind having neurons and they connected to each other and they talk and they communicate with each other. Similarly, in deep learning we can build a neural networks, and which can predict the output. So we our mind helped in building the deep learning, and now deep learning is helping in our healthcare domain. Okay, so this is a kind of neural network which so suppose information is comes from the first input and then it goes to different hidden layers, and then we get the output. So we don't need to specify lots of feature engineering, we don't need to do lots of feature engineering, we just need to build a neural network architecture, and then we can get a better result. So we are already discussed that there are many application of healthcare in AI in different areas. Like we have virtual nursing, we have image analysis, we have the discovery. There are fraud detection, which we have not discussed. So in medical insurance, there are so many frauds happen, and this is one of the pain point for any medical insurance company. So we can build AI solution which can easily detect the frauds, and it is already in production. I have worked on some fraud detection projects in which we try to detect if a person claim is right or wrong based on his data, based on his medical records, based on his financial records. So and other factors, we were able to predict more accurately about the fraud detection. There is so much data available on the different social sites nowadays for medical history, which we can capture regularly, and then we can predict like what kind of diseases is spreading across the people, what kind of problem generally people are facing. Another thing, like sometimes people are not able to share their medical problem with other person very confidently, even today. But when we seen that we build a AI solution and we give a intuitive way for a patient to interact with, they become more open. They are able to talk more about their diseases, and the AI assistant able to solve the person problem. Okay, so that kind of problems is also there, which can be handled by the AI. There are many other workflow as well, which can be automated. For example, when you visit to a doctor, you want to book an appointment. After booking the appointment, you reach to doctor, but before reaching to doctor, if you see that there is a waiting list, and my appointment is 2 o'clock, but I will get because of the patient lined up, I may get the doctor will me see around 3 p.m. So I get the pre-notification of it. And when you reach to hospital, and when your diagnosis is done, you automatically get that what is your report, and what are the other things you have to take care, and then you have a automatically follow-ups about your medical condition. Those kind of complete workflow can be inbuilt using the AI. Okay. Apart from that, where there are many people those are working with the same diseases but getting the different kind of treatment, and not every treatment is giving the same results for the same kind of age group, of same kind of genders. But if we have a system in which we have lots of this kind of data, in which we have information, this kind of treatment, if it is given to this particular age group or gender or geography, we see the more success, right? So these kind of things, if we have built a system around it, then it can be more useful for any patient and doctor. Now I take a pause and show you one more video. This is our second last video of this session.
The world's approach to health is broken, but that's about to change. Medical data doubles every 3 years, and the $7 trillion health industry is unable to keep up with the staggering rate at which information is produced. From medical records, clinical trials, and research to personal fitness bands, implanted devices, and other sensors that collect real-time data, each of us can generate the equivalent of 300 million books of health-related data in our lifetime. In fact, approximately 35 cents of every dollar spent on medical care is wasted. And yet, there is a reason for hospitals, doctors, insurers, and patients alike to be optimistic about the future. The reason is Watson Health Cloud. The IBM Watson Health Cloud brings together vast amounts of medical data into one centralized thinking hub on the cloud, combining traditional analytics with the advanced cognitive capabilities of Watson. The ability to learn and over time refine its analysis based on what it is learning, to turn this wealth of data into knowledge. Take Raul. Raul has a family, a busy job, and an active lifestyle. He also has a heart condition. It's mild, but it could worsen over time. He works closely with his doctor to monitor the problem, but they have difficulty finding medication that doesn't limit his busy lifestyle. And with the mountain of medical data available, it's nearly impossible to keep up with the latest treatments. Raul's doctor starts using a new app created from the Watson Health Cloud. It allows him to review Raul's personal and family medical history from other doctors, even insurance providers, and incorporate that information with data from Raul's Fitbit. This provides both Raul and his doctor with meaningful insights about his condition over time. Watson Health Cloud operates in an ecosystem environment. As in nature, an ecosystem brings together many contributors to keep the system functioning smoothly. Watson Health Cloud's ecosystem functions much the same way. It combines massive amounts of data and knowledge and brings together researchers, doctors, patients, pharmaceutical companies, and insurers in a secure and open platform. As Raul and his doctor continue to use Watson Health Cloud through the app contributes that data back into the Watson ecosystem. This give and take makes Watson Health Cloud more dynamic, intelligent, and efficient for everyone. The app combines knowledge about Raul's heart condition with data in the Watson Health Cloud from patients with the same condition. Using analytics and insights, the app makes the best recommendations for Raul's care. When a new study suggests a correlation between an allergy medication Raul takes and increased risk of heart disease, the app alerts Raul's doctor and suggests a possible replacement medication. Since the app knows Raul is an avid runner, the app suggests a medication that doesn't interfere with strenuous physical activity. Raul never has to worry about his medical privacy because IBM goes to great lengths to keep knowledge about patients private and anonymous, ensuring that before any of Raul's medical records reach the cloud, they are stripped of any and all personal identifiers. This process refers to de-identification services, which are crucial to creating a safe, secure cloud environment. As the knowledge base continues to grow, apps built using the Watson Health Cloud enable researchers, doctors, and pharmaceutical companies to drive medical advancements and improve patient outcomes. Physicians can be more confident and accountable in their treatments, and individuals like Raul can be more responsible for their own health and wellness by taking preventative action. IBM Watson Health Cloud is rapidly transforming healthcare around the world. Its advanced cognitive capabilities, interactive ecosystem, and secure de-identification dramatically change the dynamic between patients, doctors, and the medical community, creating a brighter, healthier future for all.
Okay, so you might get the idea like how the big companies like IBM, Google, and other Microsoft, everybody having healthcare department, and those companies are working a specific solution for healthcare. Now we move to another topic in which we will see what are the different areas in which technology is already in use in medical world. So if you see, there are fields like artificial organs, medical devices, computer-assisted surgery, and smart materials, and medical imaging. These are the prime areas in which right now the technology is in use to come up with better solutions. What's the benefit of having AI in healthcare? We have already seen that there are so many benefits. It can save people life. It can reduce the cost. It can reduce the efforts by the doctors. uh, and specifically in country like country in which we have less number of doctors per capita, it is very useful if we can have some kind of assistant for the doctor to the uh, reduce the treatment time, and which can help to patient to identify what kind of problems they are facing, and if there is assistant which can solve the problems for them. So there are many benefits of AI. We can have the early diagnosis. Sometimes we don't go to doctor, and sometimes people can't go to doctor. For example, we have seen that many times the people get to know about the cancer diseases at the very last stage, right? We are not able to predict whether we are suffering from a cancer or any kind such kind of diseases. We go to doctor when we get the heart attack. We don't know earlier symptoms which can be captured by these smart devices, which can tell us that your heart condition is not healthy and you need to visit a doctor, and which basically could save your life, right? There are so for example, I told like if you when we do for and go for MRI takes lots of time, and then reading that MRI is also takes lots of time. What if the AI solution can be built to reduce that kind of efforts and time, and it can save uh, not only cost but the people life. So so many benefits of AI in healthcare. So we have robots, we have medical devices, and we have robots which can take care of patient, and at the same time they can. So there is a company like I already told, like shown it, and there are some other companies like Tricog. Basically, Tricog is a company which basically make ECG device. So generally ECG take some times, and then report generation is also take time. Uh, but by using Trigog, you can generate a ECG report within a 6 minute, and that report is also sent to the cloud system, and it goes to, if there machine learning runs on that report, and if they see any kind of anomaly or any kind of any problem in that particular report, they send that report to expert immediately, and then expert see those images. Maybe your remote your suppose you are taking doing the ECG in Mumbai, maybe some doctor in USA, or if you're doing that kind of ECG in USA, some doctor in India might be looking at your report and giving you immediate attention. So that kind of system, 24/7 system has been built, and it's working very efficiently. Right? So what is why the AI is growing in healthcare? So there are two things. Mainly, there is a huge data. There's lots of data is available, and we have now a technology and resources. Those can work on those, but these kind of data, and can come up with a solution. Right? Deep learning is based on work well if you have lots of data, and we do have data in math and healthcare. So that is a primary factor. The AI is growing. Second thing is we uh, we do have less doctors, and we have there's a imbalance between the patient and healthcare workflows, and to overcome this problem, AI can help a lot, right? For example, suppose if you see this graph, we don't need to have expert in your every hospital. The any doctor can take your examination, and then they can collect the data, and then that data can goes to cloud server, and machine learning program can run on the cloud, and if it found any kind of irregularities, then the expert can check remotely, and then give some kind of notification or suggestion to the patient and the respective doctors. What are the challenges we have? Why still what are the challenges you are facing to implement AI in healthcare? Not everything is good. There are some problems. First problem which I always feel is who will take the responsibility in case of failure. Like I said, there are chatbot which can suggest you take this medicine if you're feeling this. If you give the symptoms, it will suggest you that take this medicine. What if you eat that particular medicine and if you don't feel it doesn't work for you, or it creates some kind of harm on you? Who will take the responsibility, right? So we need to have some regularity, like we do have FDA and all those are already specifying the regularities for the pharma company and the medical device company and other medical related companies. We don't need to have guidelines by this regularity for the AI as well, so that we need to have some kind of accountability, that something if something goes wrong, who will take the responsibility, right? So that kind of challenge we have. Second thing is AI is costly. Definitely not every solution can be considered for the AI as of now. um, Third thing is data privacy, because the AI is all driven by data, right? So we need to capture those data digitally, and we need to keep all those data in cloud server or the AI system to come up with a better result for other patient or other problems. But many people don't like to share that kind of medical records. It's very private for many for people's. So it is difficult to keep the privacy intake and use the AI top of it. Although the IBMs and other companies, when they use this kind of data, they take care of the privacy. They don't associate the patient with the patient with the uh, data. Basically, they capture the data and only work with the relevant data. Like it doesn't matter that who are you. What is matter is what is your age, what is your gender, maybe your health condition, the previous health condition, current health condition. That kind of data, which is very relevant and which is not specific to any person, can solve some certain of some level of data privacy issue in this particular sector. But still it is a problem. We need to be very sure when we build any AI solution for anyone. If suppose any one of us will start a startup uh, in future, we need to make sure that we are aware about the data privacy and security rules, and we are not violating any kind of rules while we are building a good solution for the patient health. Okay. Apart from that, how we exchange the data, like sometime the geography wise also we don't we have lots of restriction to sharing the data. So those kind of thing needs to be handled, and these things are still a challenge. Okay. Other thing is, like, suppose what if the companies are starting misusing this data? Like suppose I give example, like you may get some kind of special discount if you use any healthcare device, any variables, and they keep noticing that you are doing very good, you are running, and you are doing exercise on a daily basis, so they give you discount. What if they also encounter that your pulse rate is going up and down very frequently, and that is why there is a huge chance that there's a high chance that you may get some kind of problem, and they increase your insurance price, right? They can do in both way, right? They can reduce the price, they can increase the price, because they do have the data, that particular data. So how we can handle such a kind of scenario? What if there will be AI built for rich people separately, or poor people separately? Like if you want to have that kind of accuracy, you have to pay a lot to use that kind of AI. If you pay less, then you will get the degraded AI system. What if this kind of system will, or what if the data which we capture is not correct in AI and it create a wrong result in real world? So those there are lots of challenges are there, but yes, solution is also there. The companies are working. Every problem has a solution. So there's a huge potential to be success. It is a huge potential to help the human being. That is why, being of all of these challenges, people are looking for the solutions. Right? Now I give you some idea, like if you want to build, if you want to make your machine learning algorithm which can predict something related to healthcare, how you can do that. So there are two ways: either write your whole program by yourself, or you can use the AutoML. Okay. uh, I give you one example, like I share my screen again, which give you more insight. Okay, so now I share you how to write a. Okay, now I share you how to write a program to classify two different images. Okay, so this is one of the assignment which we have in this particular session, okay, which I suggest all of you to do. So right now I am going to show you an example of a data set in which I am trying to identify whether the image belongs to a cat or dog. So this is a program which is I will share after this session, and this program is what is this program is able to do. It is able to identify whether particular image is a dog image or it's a cat image. Okay, but what is the assignment of this session is, I will give you a data set in which I will share the image of X-rays for a healthy person and a person who is suffering from pneumonia. So again, there are only two kind of images. The person is suffering from pneumonia, and the person is not suffering from pneumonia. And you need to modify this program to identify whether this person is suffering from pneumonia or not. Like I'm predicting if the images belongs to cat or dog. Similarly, you need to just modify this program to identify whether image is belongs to a cat, is a pneumonia person, a person who is suffering from pneumonia, or a healthy person. Okay, so generally how you write a machine learning program. So I am using Colab. Colab is a Google platform in which you can write the machine learning program without installing anything in your machine. It is running in the cloud. Okay, so what is a, so I'm using a deep learning. So it's a deep learning application. What I have a test data. Okay, I have downloaded this data from the Kaggle website. Kaggle is a website where you can get lots of data, like the pneumonia, which I am saying that in that data set also you can get from the Kaggle data set. Okay, so if you go to test data, if you go to training data, I have all this data in my Google Drive. So see, you can see I have lots of images of cat, and I have images for the dog as well in the same folder. Okay, so similarly, you need to keep all those images in one of the folder with the name cat or dog. Okay, so I have hundreds of images of cat and dog both in this particular folder, and I have a training data also. So sorry, I have test data also to verify whether my program is working fine or not. Because I have these 6 images, and I am going to validate my program that it is able to predict correctly whether it is a dog or a cat. Okay, so this is a program. We will not discuss the whole program over here because it is difficult to explain each and every line without explaining, without having deep knowledge about the deep learning. But you will get the fair idea with this program. Okay, so what we are doing in this program, we are importing some libraries which we need to build a deep learning. So if you remember, the deep learning is basically a neuron based learning in which we can have a multiple layer. Like it is similar to our mind. Our mind also have multiple neurons. They communicate to each other to come up with the result. Similarly, we have this deep learning algorithm in which we want to have multiple layers. So I have imported few libraries. These are the Python libraries which are available. Okay, so this like if you know the C++, anything you do the import. The similar way I am importing the libraries. Now because I want to have a classification. Basically, I want to classify whether this image is dog image or cat image. So I'm using CNN classification algorithms, in which this algorithm, okay, in an algorithm we need to basically define the architecture of our neural network. In that we will mention how many layers will be there, like how many what will be the activation function we will use. In if we will take another session about the particular to deep learning, I will explain in detail like what is activation function, what is layering and other things. But for now you can understand that this is the architecture. This is the architecture in which I am defining that, okay, these many will be layers, and this will be the activation function. Basically we want to we are building architecture which in which we got, if we will give an image, it will able to predict what kind of image it is. Okay, and here what I am doing is I am just loading the test data, training data from my Google Cloud, and then creating the training and test data. And here I am CNN. I am creating the object of my CNN and then calling the prediction method, and this basically predict this will basically train up my model on the cloud, and then we will predict the result. Okay, so this I have already ran this program because it takes time, because I have so many images. If you can see, I have 4,790 images for training, and test I have 1198 images. So it takes few minutes to build this model. And then after the building is done, what I did is in this particular model, I have passed one image. The image name is 1.jpg, and it is my result has predicted this is a cat image. So if you see this 1.jpg, and this is a cat. If you see that I have given another image 6.jpg, and this is predicted as a dog image. Okay, so this program I will share. What you need to do, I will share a data set for the X-ray images, pneumonia, and person who is suffering from pneumonia, and the person who is not suffering from pneumonia. You need to replace this data, okay, this test data. You need to training data. You need to have all the images in this folder. Okay, and then after having all those images in this and that particular folder, what needs to be changed? There is no change. There will be no change in importing. There will be no change in the classification. Means building the CNN classification. There will be no change in the loading part, right? Only thing is you need to, if you are giving the different name, you need to change the name, maybe pneumonia, non-pneumonia kind of thing. Okay, and then everything will be same. Everything will be same. Okay, and at the last, when you predict, you need to pass the correct test data. Like I have only in test data I have only dog and cat images. You need to put some images with the person who is suffering from pneumonia and the person who is not who is healthy. So those two kind of images you need to pass over here, and then you will see the result. So same program you can use but different data set. So this is a example of the classification. Okay, now this is a way of if you know about the programming and you're interested to run this program, then this is the way to go. Otherwise there is a simple way also. So that is known as AutoML. Okay, so what is AutoML? So this is a platform which is built by the Google, and other companies also have their own auto platform. So what is AutoML? If you use AutoML, you don't need to write all this program. You just need to have that data set. You need to just upload the images in their platform, and then it will create a model for you. You don't need to write a single line of code like I have done this one. You don't need to write any kind of code. You just need to upload the images, of pneumonia person who is suffering from pneumonia and healthy person images, and once it will create a model for you, and whenever you give a new X-ray image, it will tell you whether person is suffering from pneumonia or not. It is that simple. Okay, so that is AutoML. So if this is a cloud platform, there are different kind of frameworks are available. If you start from the bottom, actually you need to write lots of code. I have used this one ML framework, that is why I have written the code. But if you go up and up and up, if you reach to AutoML, you don't need to write a code. You can generate a custom model using your data. Okay. How to do that, I will tell you. So there are different kind of AutoML frameworks available. There are AutoML framework is available for the vision, means the example for the images, like if you want to classify two different kind of images, then there is a framework is available. If you want to identify particular thing in a particular frame in the video, for example, suppose you want an application in which you want to build an instance. Suppose one, if any person come to your society between particular time frame, then you want to capture the photo and send it to you. That kind of intelligence you can build easily using the AutoML video intelligence. Similarly, AutoML natural language, like if you having suppose you want to build some an NLP based application in which you want to identify some kind of sentiments, if the patient is happy or sad, or they are feeling uh, s- pain, by reading their sentences. So that kind of model you can build using the AutoML. And for all these things, you don't need to write any kind of code. This platform is completely based on your uh, data. So I show you how to do that. Okay. So my sister has written a complete blog on that. You can go to this particular site and you can read step by step, and you can follow these steps to build AutoML model. But I quickly give you overview how to do that. So you just need to go first Google console.cloud.com. So I am there, console.cloud.com, and then you need to create a new project. Okay, I have already created a project, so that is it is coming AutoML vision project. But if you have not created a project, you need to create a project. Click on the new project and create a new project. After creating a project, what you need to do, you need to select that project. Like I have selected my project AutoML. You can select your once after creating the project, you can select the project. And then what exactly you need to do, you need to go to the vision API, and you need to click on the data set. Okay, once you move to data set, you will reach here. I have not uploaded any images, so it is showing 00. But if you but I have created a data set. You create a data set, and then what you need to do is you need to go into import, and you need to select all the files. What are the files? Like test data, sorry, training data. You need to upload all this file in this particular using this particular button. You can create a zip and upload it. Once all the files will upload it, okay, you will see all the images in this section with the label. Like suppose you have given the name like cat and dog, and cat and dog, you will see the cat images and dog images, two label you will see. Then you need to go to train tab, and you need to start the training. You will see a button start training. You need to click on that. After some time the training will be done, and then after training you can go test and use, and that in test and use you can upload any image and see the result. You can analyze whether the person is suffering from pneumonia or not. So all the steps I have my sister mentioned over here. So you can click on the browse, and then uh, you can create you can go to data set, and then you can upload the images. I have given the URL. Then you can select the images. You will see all the images like this. You will see this two labels, cat and dog. And then you get to go to train. You click on the start training. Once the training is done, then You can go test and use. You can upload the image, like she uploaded the image, and it is able to predict that it is a cat image. So similarly, you can do for the pneumonia. Okay. In Kaggle, if you go, you will get the data set for the same. Okay, so this is all about like how the AI is impacting healthcare, how AI is very helpful in the healthcare. I talk about other fields like radiology, in radiology we are using image processing, we are using in AI. And for example, it is very easy to identify a TB. If you are suffering from a TB, if any patient is suffering from TB, it is difficult for a radiologist to understand. But if you give the same X-ray images to AI algorithm, it can predict that thing very accurately in a very less time. Similarly, if you go for dermatology, we have seen the very good result. The image with the imaging, the AI machine learning can able to identify whether it's a benign or malignant, what kind of tissue is in your skin. Similarly, oncology in a cancer, right? Oncology is a branch in which we treat the cancer. Cancer can be treated very well if we can diagnose it in early stage. And AI is very helpful in that. The IBM, like I've shown you the IBM example, the IBM is specifically working on some kind of solution in which they want to share the knowledge of specialists across the world and that kind of intelligence to all other doctors so that the cancer treatment can be done for a specific person, right? Similarly, the cardiologist, which is the most common problem, it can be predicted using the variable devices and other mechanism of AI, so that the person can avoid any cardio attack. So there are many AI-related solution which we have right now, and it is growing, and there are huge potential. You can also build any AI-specific solution which can help to our society. So that's all from my side.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for this fruitful and informative session of AI. Definitely, it will be very important for the participants. Now, I heartily welcome to our head of the department, Dr. Manish Pundlik, who is the source of our inspiration. He always support and guide us in all our endeavors. I would like him to extend vote of thanks. HOD, sir? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Hello,
Yes, sir.
respected Dr. Saurabh Jain, Chairman of RFI, Dr. Ashok Gupta, Vice President of RFI, Dr. Priyadarshini Agnihotri, North-South Broad President of RFI, Professor Ajay Jain, Central India Board President RFI, and dear participants. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks to Mr. Himanshu Jain. I, Dr. Manish Pundlik, Head School of Computers, IPS Academy, extend a very heartily vote of thanks to honorable delegates who bless us with their presence. I would like to thank Mr. Himanshu Jain for sharing your precious time with us. I am thankful to Research Foundation of India Committee members of giving us the opportunity to hold this international webinar. I am very glad and thankful to all participants for their valuable presence in making the event successful with your contribution. Thank you all. Thanks, Team SOC. Thanks a lot. Nikita, you are not audible actually. Your mouth.
Okay. Okay, sir. Sorry. Um, Now, thank you, sir, for your words. Now, if the participants have any doubt, they can post their query in the chat window. We will reply in your respective email ID. Thanks to all the participants for being the part of this session. I hope this session will be very profitable for everyone. Be happy, be healthy, be safe in this COVID-19 pandemic timeline and stay learning. Thank you all. Ajay sir.
Yes, Nikita ma'am.
Sir, I'm ended from my side.
Okay, thank you so much. हिमांशु
Thank
सर, थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू ऑल पार्टिसिपेंट्स। और जैसा कि अब ये जो विषय था आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, और जो हर फील्ड में इसको हम रिलेट करके बहुत सारी एक्टिविटीज नियर फ्यूचर में करने वाले हैं, और जो कुछ भी होने वाला है वो जरूर हम सबके लिए बेनिफिशियल होगा। सो अगेन थैंक यू सो मच हिमांशु सर, आईपीएस की टीम, एचओडी कंप्यूटर डायरेक्टर अचल चौधरी सर, and of course Nikita ma'am, thank you so
you,
much,
sir.
and
Thank you.
thank you all participants. Thank you Mansu sir, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So all participants, now you can leave. Thank you so much, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you Mansu sir, thank you.